I'm Amanda Borges here with The Spin, joined by National College columnist Pat Forde. Ohio State announced Tuesday that defensive end Nick Bosa will withdraw from school to focus on rehabbing a torn core muscle. He says the purpose of this is to prepare for the 2019 NFL Draft. So first off, Pat, does this move surprise you?
Well, I mean, it's always kind of surprising when somebody who's on a national championship contender, and I think Ohio State had hoped would be back, withdraws and basically ends his college career. Clearly, though, this is a situation nobody was sure exactly when Bosa was going to return, what his level of effectiveness would be, and how much he may have in the back of his mind that he's got a top 5, top 10, possibly NFL draft pick future to try to protect in terms of future injury. So, I think there was a lot of speculation about when Nick Bosa would be back and if he would be back, but this certainly ends that and is a big blow for the Buckeyes.
Well, we know that Myles Jack did this a few years back when he played for UCLA. Does it seem like this is becoming a trend in college football?
I think there's more players that are at least looking out and saying, what is the risk versus reward of continuing to play? If you've already been hurt, or B, if you're at the end of the season in a bowl game, if you're Christian McCaffrey and you say, I'm going to sit out just in case you don't want to get injured. The Jalen Smith injury from Notre Dame a couple of years ago in the Fiesta Bowl, I think resonated with a lot of people. That knocked him way down in the NFL draft. He's doing fine now with the Dallas Cowboys. But a lot of people say whether it's worth it to risk a lifetime of earnings potential in the NFL. So, a lot of, I think, for players to think about now that they maybe had never really thought about before in terms of what's the value of continuing to play versus not playing. The difference, obviously, Myles Jack was on a team that wasn't going anywhere in 2015 at UCLA, and his season was done. Nick Bosa, national championship contender, and they were hoping to have him back.
Exactly. Ohio State is currently 7-0, and they're ranked second in the AP poll. So what does Bosa's departure mean for the Buckeyes?
That's a blow, no doubt about it. Now, they're one of the deepest, most talented teams in the country. If somebody's going to be able to withstand the loss of a top 5 pick kind of player, a National Defensive Player of the Year candidate, you would think it would be someone like an Ohio State. But still, when he got hurt against TCU, the Buckeye defense hasn't been very good since then. It's been okay, but it hasn't been great. And you take an absolute playmaker, a guy that can wreck a scheme, a guy that can create turnovers, that can score defensive touchdowns or create defensive touchdowns. You remove him completely from the arsenal, that greatly diminishes that defense. And while Ohio State's probably going to be good enough to beat and has been good enough to beat teams without Nick Bosa, they may run into a time when they'd sure like to have him, whether it's the end of the season against Michigan, whether it's a Big Ten championship game, whether it's in the college football playoff. So losing him is absolutely a huge blow.
Bosa leaves Columbus after racking up 17.5 sacks in less than 3 seasons. We'll see how early his name is called in April. Thank you, Pat. For more on this and other college football news, stay up to date with The Spin on Yahoo Sports.